we're going to have a lovely evening. We're going to sit back. We're going to enjoy the celebrations. We're going to enjoy the winners. We're going to celebrate as well with those that have come second and those that just didn't quite make it. We are going to have a fantastic evening of that, I have no doubt. We're amongst friends, we're amongst family, we're amongst colleagues, and we're certainly going to enjoy one another's company. Without any further ado, I'd like to call upon a gentleman that goes to the same hairstylist as I do, the chairman of the KwaZulu-Natal Breeders Club, Mr. Bruce LaRue, to address us and say a few words. Could you put your hands together for Bruce LaRue, please?
You obviously haven't been to the barber for a while. Got so many papers here. Where do I start? Directors of Gold Circle, honored guests, fellow breeders, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and a warm welcome to the 2018 KZN Breeders Awards. What a beautiful KZN Midlands evening and what a beautiful setting we have here tonight. May we just take time out and appreciate this beautiful area which most of us call home, and the home of the KZN thoroughbred. These animals that we love so much, that consume our lives, and the reason that we are here tonight. Thank you everyone for making an effort to be with us tonight as we acknowledge our breeders for outstanding achievements in the 2017 and 2018 season. I must thank the Gold Circle people for the way they support this special event of ours every year. They have no obligation to be with us, but every year they take time out, make the trip up from Durban to be with us, and we thank you for this. This year, we witnessed the dispersal sale of the Scott Brothers breeding stock. After 53 years, well, Robin, I think it's 53 years, might be more. What a feat, Robin. A man with staying power of note, we must say, and a man of his word, a man of integrity, a man who is 100% committed to KZN breeding for so many years. A man we look up to, and Robin, thanks for being with us tonight. At one stage I thought you weren't going to come. In all these years, I don't think you have missed an award evening, or not that I know of. Thank you for being an inspiration to us all and for all you have done for breeding. Scott Brothers breeding will have a never-ending effect on the bloodlines of the South African thoroughbred and will affect our breeding for generations to come. We salute you, Robin, your brother Des, Joyce, and your family. And we know we'll see you next year to collect more awards. I'd also like to take this opportunity to welcome Mrs. Nothemba Mdlozi here with us tonight. Thank you for joining us tonight as a fellow breeder, and we look forward to seeing you here for many, many, many more years to come. Speaking to Anton, we know how passionate and committed you are to breeding, and I'm sure you are going to be a great asset to KZN breeding. Congratulations on your first two horses that you bred, Galaxy Tune and Master Keys, both winning first time out. We wish you many more winners and hope in the near future you will be coming up to receive some of these magnificent trophies that are here tonight. To my fellow breeders, you're all winners and champions in my eyes. Through these challenging times, we box on. Another breeding season is closing on us, and I've been amazed at the support the breeders have shown each other this season. From helping out with foster mares, coverings, wherever help is needed. It's been another long but amazing breeding season. Thank you all for your comradeship. Our numbers might be small, but when we show this kind of support, we stand strong. To Mickey and Summerhill, well done for another excellent season. Just getting pipped on the line for another national breeders title. Outstanding. Producing top horses year after year. Our horses keep producing on the track. 57 black type horses in 2017-2018 season in 3 different countries, including 2 Group 1 winners. Excellence is measured by Group 1 performance, and I'm so proud to see once again Group 1 winners in our nominees tonight. And we all know how difficult it is to win a Group 1 these days. Almost impossible. Taking on the might of the Cape and the imports that come into our country. To all the award winners, congratulations and well done. For us who ran second again, we face a new season, we fight on. The champion will come. In closing, we thank all our sponsors who make this evening possible. I would like to mention them. Bayardine Royal Wines, Choice Carriers, Crusade Syndicate, Epol Horse Feeds, Equifeeds, Flying the Flag Syndicate, Gold Circle, Golden Sword, Mambu and Seattle Syndicate, Odds on Colors, Piemonte Stud, Summerhill Stud, Spring Valley Stud, the Equine Group, and the Thoroughbred Breeders Association. To Candice, our secretary, a big thank you. A big thank you. You have once again outdone yourself. To Lorraine and Lola for the flowers, and to everyone involved in putting this event together again. Warren, wherever you are, thank you for stepping up and being our MC tonight. We really appreciate it. Thank you all, and a safe journey home.
Thanks, Bruce. Thank you. We wouldn't have it any other way. All right, folks. We're going to get serious now. We're going to get things underway, and I'd like to call upon Bruce's lovely wife, Delia LaRue, to come up on stage and to assist with the trophy handovers. But we've just got 1 or 2 little things to touch on before we start the trophy handovers. It's been a tough year, not to talk about depressing things, but it's been a tough year in the horse racing and the breeding and racing industry with the many losses that we've had of people passing away. And it's been tough, and one gentleman that certainly was an integral part of tonight's awards was Raymond Rogers. And if you look at your monitors, you'll see Raymond Rogers suffered a heart attack this year, and we certainly think of him. Could I ask you all to be upstanding for those that have passed away? Thank you. For a young breeder with a 100% record, really I think will be a record that'll be battled to be broken for a long time. So Notemba's with us tonight, and we'd like to call her up on stage to recognise this achievement and receive a token on behalf of the KZN Breeders Club. So Notemba Mlonzi from Petwood Stud, put your hands together and please come forward. And on screen is Galaxy Tunes and Master Keys.
Oratorina, but look at Majestic Keys. And here's Majestic Keys with a big run to win it from Oratorina. Peacock Alley's the leader. Kingdom Come comes around him now. Down the inside is Gallagher. The favourites under big pressure. Galaxy Tunes on the inside.
Well done,
and Peacock
Timber.
Alley.
Fantastic. A round of applause. Our first award this evening is proudly sponsored by the Equine Group, and we'd like to thank Equine for their sponsorship. And I'd like to call Kathy Martin, one of the directors of the KZN Breeders Club, to please join us on stage to hand out the award, proudly sponsored by the Equine Group. The first category is the champion 2-year-old colt, and we'll just give Kathy a moment to get up on stage. Thank you, Kath. Okay, the first category is champion 2-year-old colt, and let's have a look at the nominees. Your first nominee is Alfio, bred by Piemonte Stud, by Crusade out of Singapore Cat. This is Alfio on screen in action in Port Elizabeth. Alfio, Piemonte Stud, your first nominee. Winner of the Dahlia listed at Fairview and gave sire Crusade one of 4 stakes wins for the season. Your second nominee is Born a Bully from Clifton Stud, a son of Eightfold Path and a half-brother to a Group 3 winner called the Pundra. Born a Bully by Eightfold Path out of Lovely.
From Super Smart. Born a Bully in front. Born a Bully keeps
2 nominees.
Second to Alfeo, Super Smart.
Your winner of this category is Alfio, Piemonte Stud. Please come up, the Scribanti family, Dino and Lee. Champion 2-year-old colt, ladies and gentlemen, Alfio. He's by Crusade, he's out of Singapore Cat. Here's Dino Scribanti.
Super Socks, Madam Speaker. Alfeo nearest us is now set alight and is running on strongly. Alfeo and Madam Speaker lead Born a Bully back in third. Alfeo grabs the upper hand and Alfeo going away. Madam Speaker second, third Born a Bully.
Here we go, Dino. Lovely. Watch the step, Dino. Thanks, Kathy. Thanks very much. Our second award, second category, is sponsored by Piemonte Stud. And Dino, if you wouldn't mind, don't take your jacket off, because we need you here on stage. This award is proudly sponsored by Piemonte Stud. Dino is going to join us on stage. This is for the champion 2-year-old filly, ladies and gentlemen. Champion 2-year-old filly. Let's have a look at the nominees. The first nominee is the St. John Grey trained and bred Greystone stud Ronnie's Candy. By King of Kings out of Benny and the Jets.
Next, then comes I Like It. They race down towards the final 250. Captain's Princess, Ronnie Candy is right there. Then comes Mazzari. Gala further back, it's Ronnie's Candy who claims the lead. Second place, Gala. Then comes Captain's Princess, but it's Ronnie's Candy to cause an upset. Ronnie's Candy has won. Second goes to Gala.
Your second nominee in the champion 2-year-old filly category is Carlita. Piemonte Stud. Piemonte have 2 nominees in the juvenile categories, and Carlita's by Oratorio out of Auburn and Nino.
Putting on the pressure on the inside. Carlita's got her length and she's got too much class. She draws away and Carlita does the job. Madam Speaker's second. Admirable.
Your third and final nominee for champion 2-year-old filly is Summerhill Stud bred Rail Trip. Group 1 place and a half sister to Group 1 winner Heroes Honour. Rail Trip by Trippy out of Rail Maiden. Have a look at your monitors.
Too powerful here. Rail Trip is out the maidens today. Rail Trip won it by about 4. Second goes to favourite model, then came Saints Alive.
Your champion 2-year-old filly, ladies and gentlemen, is Ronnie's Candy. Ronnie's Candy by King of Kings. Grade 2 and Grade 3 winners, Ronnie's Candy, Greystone Stud. Thank you, Kathy. Welcome on stage again. Thank you, Kathy. Dino, thank you very much. A round of applause. That's what it's all about. A round of applause. Okay, our next award is sponsored, and excuse us for going on and on, sponsored, because without the sponsors, we need the sponsors. So thanks to Equifeeds. They're the sponsors of the next category, and I'd like to call upon Jennifer Harms to please come up on stage to present this award. A round of applause for Jennifer Harms from Equifeeds. Wonderful to have Graham Elliott here with us as well. Wonderful. Come up on stage, Jennifer, Graham. This category, ladies and gentlemen, is Champion 3-year-old Colt. Champion 3-year-old Colt, let's have a look at the nominees. Your first nominee is Bushel Studs Bred. Seawright. Very close second to Munster in the Group 2 Dingaans. And Seawright is by Curveball who won the Group 2 Dingaans. Seawright, if memory serves correct, the debate today is now sold to overseas.
And Seawright wins this going away.
Here's Seawright. Your second nominee for the Champion 3-year-old category is Heroes Honour, Summerhill Stud Bred, winner of the Group 1 SA Derby. Heroes Honour by Await the Dawn out of Grail.
Manhattan Cocktails on the chase. Heroes Honour's got 2 lengths over Manhattan Cocktail, and Heroes Honour took the lead at the right time and will win. Heroes Honour from Manhattan Cocktail.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us put our hands together and congratulate Summerhill Stud. The winner is Heroes Honour. Champion 3-year-old Colt. But members of the Summerhill team, please come up on stage and greet Jennifer and Mr. Elliott. Heroes Honour by Await the Dawn out of Grail Maiden. Warm welcome to the Summerhill team. Mickey Cheryl, good evening to you and your team.
Heroes Honour causes a huge upset. Second to Surcharge, then came Noble Secret and Cash Time.
Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Okay, Odds On Colours are the sponsors of the next award, and Fiona McLeod is Odds On Colours, and we thank her and her team for the sponsorship. I'd like to call upon Mr. Anton Proctor to please come up on stage. Anton, to you and Judy, a very warm welcome. A round of applause for Anton and Judy Proctor. Okay, let's have a look. This is the Champion 3-year-old filly category. We've got 2 nominees. Let's have a look at the first one. This is Covered in Snow. Covered in Snow from the Clifton Stud. This horse gave Sire Crusade 2 stakes wins for the season. Covered in Snow by Crusade out of Blue Nevada. Have a look at your monitors and have a look at Covered in Snow in action in Peter White's colours.
Frederico's Dream, Covered in Snow, stand firm and on the outside, no more words. It's down the inside, Covered in Snow. I think Covered in Snow just got there.
Your next nominee is Taking the Piece. Summerhill Stud Bred Taking the Piece. This horse won 2 legs of the Triple Tiara. The Duke of Marmalade half-brother recently sold for R1 million at the ready-to-run sale. Taking the Piece, a little disappointing today at the GBet Summer Cup, but be that as it may, that's racing. Here's Taking the Piece in action. Your winner of the Champion 3-year-old fillies, Summerhill Stud. A round of applause, Taking the Piece.
Radiant Splendor was further back, then comes Dame Kelly. The leader is Silver Thursday. Second place is
She's by Visionaire. She's out of the mare called Lisa Ann.
Taking the Piece. Taking the Piece.
What a great horse this is. Michael Shea, Murray Makepeace, and all the partners.
Taking the Piece and Taking the Piece has won it.
Camera. Well done, team. Well done. Well done, Summerhill. Congratulations. Anton, thank you very much for your time. Okay. The next award is proudly sponsored by Flying the Flag. And we've got a little insert for you to watch on Flying the Flag. So while you watch your monitors and have a look at the insert on Flying the Flag, we'll come back to you with some stats, but this is the Champion Sprinter Colt category. Champion Sprinter Colt category, and in the meantime I'd like to call up Mr. Warwick Render to present this award, please. Let's talk about Flying the Flag. He's at Bushel Stud. He's a full brother to Group 1 winner Rhododendron and Magical. International Group winning son of Galileo. 3 parts brother to Group 1 winner Photo Call. He's the family of the Sire Vergler. His first progeny, ladies and gentlemen, go on sale in 2019, which is just a few weeks away 2019. Welcome Warwick Render on stage. Champion Sprinter Colt. Let's go straight into the nominees. The first nominee is Champagne Hayes, Summerhill Stud.
Champagne Hayes is running a big race. Splendid Gardens on the inside. It's wide open. Champagne Hayes hit the front over the last 100 metres, and Champagne Hayes will take the laurels. Second spot goes to the...
Your second nominee is again from Summerhill Stud, The Thinker, a Group 2 winner for trainer Johan Janse van Vieren. The Thinker.
Graduation day. The Thinker puts his best foot forward. He comes at Nafa. It's The Thinker over Nafa, and The Thinker's carrying too many guns. The Thinker beat
Your third nominee in the Champion Sprinter Colt category is Pure Blonde, Summerhill Stud bred by Kahal out of Legally Blonde, if my memory serves me correct. Legally Blonde was a runner today. A Pure Blonde, at least, was a runner today.
Now tries to throw out a challenge. Then comes Chili Con Carne. It's still Pure Blonde. Captain Aldo's flat out, and he's not getting closer. Pure Blonde showed a lot of courage. Second to Captain Aldo.
Your winner, ladies and gentlemen, again, Summerhill Stud. Put your hands together, Champagne Hayes. Champagne Hayes is a half-brother to Pierre Jourdan and Belle Rose. Champagne Hayes by Kahal out of Vin Fizz. We all know Vin Fizz, Summerhill Stud bred. Welcome on stage, Summerhill team. Beaten by Warwick Render of Bushmill Stud. Round of applause, folks. Nothing wrong with a round of applause. Choice Carriers are one of our sponsors this evening, and lovely to see Peter and Karen with us tonight. Choice Carriers, and thank you to them. They've transported some very good horses. They work for some very good trainers. They've transported some great horseflesh racing, polo, whatever, retired horses. They've done a lot of work for me personally, our retired race horses that go up to the various polo fields. And Peter Choice is joining us on stage to present the Champion Sprinter Filly. Champion Sprinter Filly, there's only one nominee, so there can only be one winner. Your Champion Sprinter Filly for the 2018 season is Clifton Stud's Covered in Snow.
Covered in Snow's down the
Hands
inside,
together for
then
Covered in Snow, Peter and Jenny Blythe. Covered in Snow has a full brother, ladies and gentlemen, full brother at Clifton this season at foot.
But Covered in Snow travels very well, quite a long way out, and has won it well.
Last time I saw Christine, last time I saw Christine and Peter, I won't tell you what they were doing at Mares and the Mare Crush. But there we go. That's wonderful to have them on stage. Champion Sprinter Filly, ladies and gentlemen, Covered in Snow. Well done, Peter. Bill Lambert, Gold Circle's racing ambassador. Wonderful to have you all here. Gold Circle, everyone, Babu, Moses, the whole team. Okay, now we're going to go on to Delia. You all right? Happy? Delia's happy. That's the most important. Right. Our next award is sponsored by Crusade. The Crusade Syndicate has sponsored the next award, and I'd like to call up again Peter and Jenny Blythe to please join us on stage to present this award. We're going to look at an insert, folks. We're going to look at an insert on Crusade. I had the privilege of running around the paddocks with him just the other day at Clifton, and he's looking a picture is Crusade. But welcome to Peter and Jenny. Peter and Jenny, a round of applause. And just before we go on, I think what we must do, if you wouldn't mind, your nephew Luke Ferraris has rode his 60th winner today at Turffontein on the big day. 60th winner, he no longer claims, and I think he deserves a round of applause. Luke Ferraris, the nephew of Peter and Jenny Blythe. 60 winners today. Well, not today. He rode his 60th today. I'll have Mark McCarty correcting me. Okay, let's have a look at Crusade. As I said, he stands at Clifton Stud. There's a little video insert that we can have a look at. And he's a half-brother to a multiple Group 1 winner, Seventh Heaven. He's a half-brother to two other group-placed horses, Cristoforo Colombo and Coat of Arms. He's produced 4 stakes winners last season, has Crusade. And his lifetime winners to runners are at a percentage of a staggering 45%. This is Crusade on screen. Spare a moment and have a look at this insert, and we'll come back with the nominees. Champion middle distance colt, the nominees: Summerhill Stud, Unagi by Admire Main out of Hariad, Summerhill Stud bred. Unagi is your first nominee.
Unagi, another fluid went by too. Gone Baby Gone, Hidden Agenda, Wild
Your second nominee is Dawn Assault for Greystone Stud.
And
Dawn Assault.
Lose coming back to the field, and here's the chasing pack
Kathy,
with Dawn
is correct.
Assault.
This is the horse that ran second in the Summer Cup. There we go. Dawn Assault just run second, a short head to Matador Man in the G-Bet Summer Cup a few moments ago. There's Dawn Assault. Scott Brothers, your third nominee, Matador Man by Toreador out of Sahara. Scott Brothers. There's Matador Man on the extreme outside of the course. Anton Marcus's lane at Greyville.
It's all over. Matador Man to win by 3 to 4 lengths. East up, Seattle Skyline second, Legend third, Baltic
Your fourth and final nominee for this category is Bushel Studs Searite by Curveball out of Damascus. Searite on screen.
Races in third, Mooney up the inside, still hard ball, but Searite is making a lot of inroads towards the outside, and now he hits the front, and Searite wins this going away. Hard ball second, Mooney third, and then came outside.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, champion middle distance colt, Matador Man, Scott Brothers. A round of applause for Scott Brothers, Matador Man.
Romany Prince tries to put on the pressure.
Come up, Mr. Scott.
And on the outside, Matador Man. Dawn Calling still leads it. Matador Man's
Come up
now
and join Peter
really
and Jenny
kicking
on stage.
in. And here's Matador
Wonderful
Man.
to have
He
Winnie with
rocks
us.
through to win going away. Matador Man from Dawn Calling, whacking up and no worries in a photo for
Let me help.
third and fourth, then Romany Prince.
Yeah, well, Mr. Scott wants to be with Peter. Yeah, they want to need to get. There we go. Lovely photographs.
Steady
Take it
as the
from
stars in the woods, so happy-hearted in the warm, ring true inside these bones. As the old pine fair we sang. Just the best of me.
Our next sponsor is Mambo in Seattle. Mambo in Seattle has sponsored the next category. And I'd like to call upon Peter and Jenny Blythe. Sorry, Peter and Jenny, I'm just calling you. I thought you might need the lovely lunch you gave us the other day at Clifton. We thought we might need to work it off. So Peter and Jenny Blythe and the Clifton team to please come back up on stage to join us. This category is the champion middle distance female. Now, as I said, sponsored by Mambo in Seattle, and we're going to again look at a little insert, and I'll tell you a little bit about Mambo in Seattle. There's only one nominee, but we'll talk about Mambo. He's at Clifton Stud. He's a sire of Group 1 winner, same jurisdiction. Nice to have James Rich here from the Duncan Howells Racing Stable. They were in charge of same jurisdiction. Recently exported Majestic Mambo from the Paul Peter Stable. Saratoga Dancer was also Mambo was the sire of Saratoga Dancer, a horse that belongs to my family along with the Trotters and company. 71 wins last season from 135 runs, and he's the sire of 9 stakes winners. Let's have a look at the winner, champion middle distance female, taking the piece, Summerhill Stud, to come up on stage, taking the piece, trained by Mike DeCock, bred by Summerhill Stud, by Visionaire out of Lisa Ann. A wonderful filly. An acceleration and a turn of foot. Lucky Khan filly. We welcome the Summerhill team on stage. A round of applause for Summerfeld, friends.
We stood steady as the stars.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Peter. Yeah, Sean Terry, 6 winners today. Quite right, Bill. Quite right, 6 winners. Our next award is sponsored by Golden Sword, and it gives me a great pleasure and an honor to call up Mr. Ted Hughes up onto the stage to assist with the presentation of this award. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ted Hughes. Wonderful to have Ted and Ruth here. Good evening, Ruth. Good evening to you. While we wait for Ted to come up on stage, this is sponsored by Golden Sword. This is the Champion Stayer male and female category. Champion Stayer male and female. We're going to look at an insert on Golden Sword, and I'll tell you a few facts about Golden Sword. He is standing at Yellow Star Stud, owned by Kirsten Lorraine de Klerk. Wonderful to have them with us tonight. And Golden Sword is owned by Ted. Ted's pride and joy is Golden Sword. Golden Sword's a full brother to Group 1 Melbourne Cup winner, Rekindling. He's a half brother to Group 1 French second place, Sydney Opera House. Sire of Dubai Export and Stakes winner, Bell Rose. There's Golden Sword in the paddocks at Yellow Star Stud. Your nominees: Summerhill Stud Bred, Heroes Honour, Group 1 SA Derby winner, and a half-brother to Railford.
To the outside, Manhattan Cocktails warming up as well. Heroes Honour's seen off Greta, but Manhattan Cocktails on the chase. Heroes Honour's got 2 lengths over Manhattan Cocktail, and Heroes Honour took the lead at the right time and will win. Heroes Honour from Manhattan.
Your second nominee is Just Cruised In, Shadwell Stud, by Just As Well, from the family of Galileo and See the Stars. Just Cruised In, born and raised at Bruce LaRue's Spring Valley Stud.
And Just Cruised In's going to beat Kitty's Destiny. Just Cruised In 2.5.
Your final nominee is Witchcraft, Summerhill Stud Bred Witchcraft, won the Group 3 Track and Ball Oaks twice. There's Witchcraft on screen. Summerhill Stud by Kahal out of Deceptive Charge, trained by Sean Terry. She's had a phenomenal day today at Turpentine Racecourse. Ted, get ready to present the award to Summerhill Stud. The winner is Heroes Honour. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Heroes Honour, your champion stayer male and female. We're always welcome. Welcome everyone on stage. This horse gave Lawrence Berners his first Group 1 winner. So this will be a very special horse in Lawrence Berners' life. There's no doubt about that. EPOL Horse Feeds are responsible for the next category. They're responsible for the next award for sponsoring that. Thank you to EPOL Horse Feeds. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome and call upon Neil White from EPOL Horse Feeds. Neil, if you could please come up on stage. Thank you for your attendance and thank you for your contribution. A warm round of applause for Mr. Neil White from EPOL. Let's have a look at the nominees for the Champion Older Male. Champion Older Male, the first nominee is Summerhill Stud, Champagne Haze.
300 metres to go, Grease Paint, Pure Blonde on the stand side, Bright number 10, then came Queen Laurie Tundama running on in behind that. Grease Paint, Champagne Haze has come from the clouds too. Here comes Champagne Haze, and Champagne Haze will lift the Tommy Hot handicap from in second.
Your second nominee, Summerhill Stud Bred, The Thinker.
Nova up the inside, still in front. Second place is The
Thinker by Visionaire out of Radiant Lass.
Garden Riverine, graduation day. The Thinker puts his best foot forward. He comes at Nava. It's The Thinker over Nava, and The Thinker's carrying too many guns. The Thinker beat Nava.
Your third and final nominee for the Champion Older Male, ladies and gentlemen, is Just Cruised In. Just As Well by Just As Well. Wonderful record does Just As Well have.
And Just Cruised In's going to beat Kitty's Destiny. Just Cruised In 2.5.
Neil, get ready to present the trophy for this category to Summerhill Stud, Champagne Haze. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. What a wonderful evening Summerhill Stud are having. Champagne Haze have won the Champion Older Male category. Another two gentlemen that go to the same barber as Bruce and I. Although, as Bruce said, I need to go and visit that barber. Here we go. Thank you, team. Thank you very much, Neil. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Delia, if you get thirsty, this is not water. It's just a disguise. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to and thank Gold Circle for the next award. Gold Circle have sponsored the next category. And I'd like to call upon Mr. Moses Tembe, one of the board members of Gold Circle. Wonderful to have Moses at the awards this evening, and we'd like to call upon Moses up on stage. A round of applause for Mr. Moses Tembe from the board of Gold Circle. Moses, thank goodness there's bald people like all of us, because it's just wonderful. I don't feel upset that I'm the only bald one here. Let's have a look here. This is sponsored by Gold Circle. This is, ladies and gentlemen, the champion older female. There's only one nominee, so there can only be one winner. The champion older female for this year is Summerhill Studs Bred Witchcraft. A warm round of applause for Witchcraft. There we can see Witchcraft on screen, powering home to victory at Scottsville. Don't be shy. Come up, everybody. Come up and it's time to celebrate. That's what it is. Yeah, they're taking the piece here, Mr. Scott. Absolutely. There we go. Wonderful. Wonderful. Summerhill Stud Witchcraft. Again, well done to Sean Terry for today's fantastic achievements. Moses, thank you. Yeah. Moses, you're done. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you to Moses. Wonderful. Thank you to Gold Circle. Folks, we've come to that time of the evening where we can sit back and relax. And thank you, Delia. Thank you very much. Our main course is going to be, it hasn't been put on the table yet. Let me just check. Mark, it hasn't been served yet, eh? Okay. Our main course is going to be the worst thing, Mark. You would regret ever having a go at me about mentioning the starters, because I saw that. Main course will be served in a few moments, and we'll just sit back, relax, and enjoy some background music and enjoy our meal. Just to touch on a few results, I was asked to mention a few racing results from today, and why not? Just to reflect on a Bush Hill Stud Bred Oro, trained by Paul Peter, finished second today. Up at Turffontein, Dawn Assault. Yeah, a round of applause for Bush Hill Stud Oro, running second today. Dawn Assault finishing a close second, let me get it right this time, to Tilbury Fort, not to Matador Man. Mr. Scott, I said Matador Man won the Summer Cup today, but anyhow, we all make mistakes. It's not the end of the world. And so second to Dawn Assault, St. John Grey, trained and bred with our friends from Hadlow Stud and Greystone Stud. Summerhill, the Group 2 Merchants winner, Africa Rising. I think that deserves also a round of applause. Group 2 Merchants, Africa Rising today, Summerhill Stud Bred. Okay, Delia. Watch the step, Delia. Watch the step. Delia doesn't need to watch the step. She's very sharp. Okay, let's go. Our next award, ladies and gentlemen, we trust you've had a good meal, lovely lamb shank and all that goes with it, and bellies are full, the wine is flowing, and we're enjoying one another's company here tonight at Fordoon, celebrating the KZN Breeders Awards. The next award is sponsored by Gold Circle. I'd like to call upon Babu Noonan to come up on stage. He's part of the Gold Circle team, Gold Circle board. Welcome to Babu Noonan. A round of applause. When Babu Noonan drives a car, a Mercedes-Benz with a registration QUI, KZN. I was instructed to go and get lunch during the day, and I drove out of the Fordoon driveway, and I if I hadn't pulled over and gone through the forest, KZN would have driven straight over me. Didn't you see me, Babu? You didn't see me. Okay, that's all right. That's okay. The Broodmare of the Year category, ladies and gentlemen, the Broodmare of the Year category, we're going to go straight and tell you who the winner is. The Broodmare for 2018 is Grail Maiden. Summerhill Stud, could members of the Summerhill team please come up on stage? Grail Maiden is the Broodmare of the Year. Beautifully bred is Grail Maiden. She's by Galileo, and she really is a great, great broodmare. Welcome on stage to the Summerhill team. Yeah, Bill says Cheryl, you Summerhill. Come on, Cheryl. Wonderful to have Cheryl with us as well, and the whole team at Summerhill. Yeah, you can push me over, it's not a problem. Broodmare of the Year, Grail Maiden, Summerhill Stud. Here we go, there's the camera lady in front. You can have a look at the camera directly in front of you and have some pictures. There we go, there's Candice with a lovely camera. That's it. A round of applause. Summerhill Stud, Broodmare of the Year, Grail Maiden. Thank you, Babu. Thanks very much. I'll bring you a pair of glasses next week so you can see when you're driving. Okay, the next sponsor, and we thank the Thoroughbred Breeders Association for their contribution to tonight's function. The TBA, Thoroughbred Breeders, the chairman Lee Scribanti. I'd like to call upon Lee Scribanti, please, to come up on stage. Lee, thank you, come and present this award. It's also wonderful to have Michael and Werner Roberts with us here tonight. A round of applause for Michael and Werner. Multiple champion jockey, and doing his trade in the training ranks. Welcome, Werner. Welcome, Michael. Okay, we're going to now look at the Stallion of the Year. This stallion has produced 4 stakes winners. Alfio, Butchie Boy in Zimbabwe, and 2 winners from Covered in Snow. I'd like to call upon, for the Stallion of the Year, Clifton Stud for Crusade. Here we can see on screen Crusade, a lovely insert on Crusade. Welcome, Peter and Jenny. Well done, Peter. Well done, Jenny. Round of applause. Thank you, Lee. Thank you very much, Chairman of the Thoroughbred Breeders Association, Lee Scribanti. I'd like to call upon for the next award a representative from the Summerhill Stud, because this award is sponsored by Summerhill. So Amaray, or a representative, or as many of you as you would like, to come up on stage and present this award, because this is the Breeders' Achievement Award. As Amaray. The Breeders' Achievement Award, which is sponsored by Summerhill Stud, goes to Piemonte Stud, Dino and Lee Scribanti. Piemonte Stud dominated the juvenile categories with Alfio, Carlita. They were the breeders of O Tamara, Calamane, and Celestina. Piemonte Stud. Dino, welcome on stage. Another round of applause for Dino and Lee Scribanti, Piemonte Stud, the winners of the Breeders' Achievement Award.
Stars across the heavens, there's a whispering song of the wind in the grass, there's a rolling thunder across the savannah.
Bruce, Delia says she's getting lonely. She's getting lonely. You know what? He can't bring the wine or the twisp. Here's Bruce LaRue, Bruce and Delia from Spring Valley Stud. They've sponsored the next award. Thank you very much to them. And this award, ladies and gentlemen, is the leading breeder of the year. The leading breeder of the year for the 2018 season. No guesses. Summerhill Stud. A warm round of applause for Summerhill Stud. Mick Goss, Mick and Cheryl, please come up on stage. Bring your entire team. I'll move off. Bring the team from Summerhill. We'd like to see everybody here from Summerhill this evening come up on stage. I'll move aside, have some photographs, and enjoy the moment. The leading breeders, ladies and gentlemen, of the year, Summerhill Stud. Proudly, this award proudly sponsored by Bruce and Delia LaRue of Spring Valley Stud. Wonderful to have them all on stage. Well done to all the team from there. Stand up, yeah, stand at the bottom. Some at the bottom, some at the top. This will make a wonderful photograph. Lovely to have Mick and Cheryl here with us this evening. Let me move out the way.
Your life is a story like the wind. I'm searching for the spirit of the great heart to hold and stand divine. I'm searching for the spirit of the great heart.
Summerhill Stud. Mick, please don't go. You stay exactly where you are. Because I'd like to call upon, ladies and gentlemen, as the Summerhill team take to their seats, I'd like to call upon Mr. Mick Goss from Summerhill Stud to address us. Mick, over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've been here a few times, and we've been at the National Awards a few times, but I just want to say this to you, that to be honored by your colleagues in your own neighborhood means as much to us as any award we've ever won. And this evening's no exception. But can I just say this also, that getting up in the mornings to do what we do, those of us who are in this room tonight, and to go to work with one of the great teams of the world is one of the greatest privileges Cheryl and I ever know. I get to work in the dark most mornings, and quite often I get home in the dark. I know my family in the dark, but I know racehorses in the daytime, and that's a wonderful honor. And can I just say to those of you who organized this evening, my colleagues on the board of KZN Breeders, Candice, to our hosts this evening, Fordoon, who are our colleagues in the hospitality trade, to the guys from Gold Circle, who've played a meaningful role in our lives since 1988, for those of you who don't know about the Breeders' Premium Scheme, who've kept most of us alive and living here in KwaZulu-Natal, and for your role in supporting this evening's events. Moses, you were supposed to be in Joburg today, and you gave it up to be with us this evening. But all of you guys, you were supposed to be in Joburg. Thank you so much for honoring us with your presence this evening. And can I just say this? Notembe, we've won a number of prizes tonight. It's been a great evening. But let me assure you, we didn't breed 2 winners first time out in our lives. So I'm a little afraid of what's coming. There looks like there's another elephant in the room. Mntakwethu, ungathi kukho indlovukazi engene apha kithi namhlanje. Siyabonga ngempela ukwazi. That's what I've got to say, chaps. It's a privilege to work in this neighborhood, and for all they'll tell you about other neighborhoods in this country and any places in the world. There's a great book about Africa called Biography of a Continent, written by an Englishman called John Reed. He was an anthropologist, he was a geologist, he was a whole lot of things, and he understood how the world worked, and he understood the places of the world. And in the back of this great book, there are a whole lot of maps: climate, altitude, etc., logistics, and one of them is a fertility map. And he reminds us that the Drakensberg used to be where Hilton is today. And over the millions of years, it's weathered back to its current spot. And it's left in these valleys, and where we live, one of the greatest mineral endowments in the whole world. And that's why this is one of the 5 most fertile areas on the continent of Africa. And we're so privileged to be able to raise horses and breed our stock in this part of the world, and it rains here, which is unusual for our friends in other parts of the country. And so I salute all of you for being what you've been to Summerhill over many years. We've been here for 40 years in January. And I have to say that if it weren't for the support of all of our colleagues here, who've inspired us to keep importing stallions, creating international relationships with people who've kept on supporting us over many, many years, it's because of the support of people like yourselves who've been quite remarkable. And if I left this podium tonight without paying my tribute to our team, yeyenu namhlanje lento bakithi. Ngempela nisebenzile futhi akuzange kwabe kahle kangaka. Ukuba bakhona ngaphandle bacinga ukuba sesiyabaleka, hayi sikhona. So bakho ngolunyaka ozayo. Siyabonga.
Thank you, Mick. Thank you very much. Always warm words from Mick. And as I say, wonderful to have Mick and Cheryl and the entire team here with us tonight. Next, we're going to move on to our Special Lifetime Achievement Award. And before our team in the back there push the button, we want to tell you, there's not much we can tell you because you know already about this gentleman, but he's the man that put KwaZulu-Natal racing and breeding on the map. Not only KZN racing and breeding, he put South Africa racing and breeding on the map. He's a man who's passionate. He's a man who puts his 150% effort into what he does. He's behind his staff 150% of the way. They breed good horses year in and year out. Ladies and gentlemen, the Special Lifetime Achievement Award for 2018, Mickey Goss. Welcome back on stage, Mick. Wonderful.
You don't often get a second bite of the cherry in this game. It's tough out there, guys. It's never been tougher in this game. And I have to say that just about everything we've ever done in this game was born of desperation. There were no great boardroom decisions in our lives. Just about everything happened because we had to find a solution. And I'm going to tell you the story this evening, if you don't mind, because there are young people in this room, and I hope they find inspiration in the Summerhill story. In January, as I said just now, we'll have been here 40 years. And so I have to look back at our foundations when we had no money, no land, and no team. And it takes a long time to assemble the right people and to get the land right, and to understand the land so that you can farm in harmony with what you're doing. And if I could just remind you that we started out in 1979 here. And a few years later, I approached the fathers of racing, the custodians of the Racecourse Development Fund, and I asked them if we could consider introducing a premium scheme to the province. Because there were places around the world that had premium schemes and it had helped their breeding considerably. And I was asked to draw a submission. And one of the things that went into that submission was a survey of breeding in South Africa, in KwaZulu-Natal, well, in Natal as it was in those days, from 1976 to 1986. That's when we started the submission. And do you know that there were 96 registered breeders in this province in 1976? And by 1986, there were 20 left. 76 had suffered attrition. So this game of ours is not unique today. The number of people that have gone out of business are not different. My good friend Bill Lambert, who's sitting here, Robin Scott's brother Des, joined me in preparing this submission. And so the Breeders' Premium Scheme came into being in 1987, 1988. In 1987, I went to see the Commissioner of Inland Revenue, who was a fellow lecturer with me in tax for the Law Society of South Africa, to come to the farm so we could talk to him about making the tax deductions available to horse farmers the same as those for cattle farmers. And in early 1988, the Tax Act was changed to accommodate it. In 1988, my good friend John Slade said to me, why don't we start a ready-to-run sale? We'd been in Florida where they couldn't sell their horses against the leading breeders in Kentucky. And I was reminding Anton Proctor this evening that in the year before, we took Daughters of Jungle Cove and Lords, some of the top stallions in the country, to the sales in Joburg, and we couldn't sell them against the farms, the established farms. And John said to me, why don't we consider, he'd been in Florida with me where we discovered that they were selling their horses galloping off the farm. So we started the first ready-to-run sale in the Southern Hemisphere. In 1989, I went with a delegation to England to go and talk to every lord and lady in England who had a racehorse, and anybody who had any money that owned a racehorse. We invited them to this great reception room at the Jockey Club headquarters because we had a friend who was then the chief steward of English racing, and Michael Roberts was riding the socks off the English in those days. And I spoke to Lord Hartington. Styko Hartington was a friend of mine, and I said, please lend us this room so we can talk to these people. And we knew that Nelson Mandela was about to be released, though it wasn't official public policy. But the Minister of Finance had come to Summerhill to talk to the leaders of racing, and he told us that he promised us, and we went to tell our wives, that they were going to let Nelson Mandela go, that they were going to negotiate an orderly transition to a democratic dispensation in this country. And so I phoned a lady called Sally Hindley, and I said, Sally, you know every lord and lady in England who's got a horse. Jeremy Hindley's ex-wife. Please organize. She was an events organizer. We issued 90 invitations. By November, it was becoming fashionable to hand in a South African passport again at Heathrow. And the remarkable thing about it is that we issued 90 invitations and 222 people turned up. And I reminded the English that we had given up so many millions of lives in the Empire's cause during the colonial wars and the First and Second World Wars. 500,000 horses had left our shores, not one had ever returned. And we said, we need you now. And the rand, because of the debt standstill, had gone out to 8-1. It cost 60,000 quid, 480,000 rands to have 2 horses in training with Henry Cecil, the champion trainer of England, and 60,000 rands to have 2 horses in training with Terence Millard in Cape Town. The saving on the costs of training alone was 420,000. With that money, you could buy your wife and yourself a club class ticket, Heathrow, Louis Botha, check in at Hertford House for 9 months, hire a car the day you arrived, give it back the day you returned, fly back to London, go and see your stockbroker, go to the Lord's Cricket Test, to Wimbledon and to the English Derby, and fly back here and have change in your pocket. It was irresistible. Irresistible. Those are the things we did in those days, chaps, because we were desperate. And those days are not unlike the days and the challenges we face this day. There's nothing more daunting about the world. We live in a much better world than we were living in 1989, let me assure you. This is a much better country for where we are today than we were in 1989. And so the English, as they would, because they have consciences, came to South Africa and they invested heavily. And a member of the Maktoum family, who in those days were the biggest owners and breeders in the world, and they still are, approached us the next day and said, how can we help? And so that was the beginning of another relationship that altered life in this province we live in and in this country to this day. In 2000, I phoned Peter Miller, who was our MEC in charge of racing in those days, and I said, let's go and see the Minister of Trade and Industry, who was a fellow who was at school with me, Alec Irwin. And we went to see him about our plight. And we asked him to help us to report the Australians to the World Trade Council because they wouldn't take our horses. He said, I'm not going to do that because they were our chief advisors on our international trade strategies. But he said, form yourselves into a trade council, which we did. And we exported 400 horses in the first 3 years, each year, to the world. We built a quarantine station in those days at Kenilworth. In 1995, we wrote out the first protocol in a hotel room in Paris with 3 tripartite vets over 2 bottles of Blackbush whiskey. To this day, and they don't know why, in Brussels it's called the Blackbush Accord. But it was our first export protocol with the European Union, which is about to be changed again to enable us to normalize our export protocols. My farm has just invested several million rands again this year in new breeding stock. I tell you this because I want to inspire you to do the same, because we anticipate that we will be able to normalize our export protocols. And those who've got stock on the ground will be the ones who will benefit by any change in that dispensation. In 2005, Summerhill won its first National Breeders' Championship. The rest of the country said you can't breed a decent racehorse in Natal. In 2016, we won our 10th, a modern-day record in the last 70 years. And we did it because we breed in the same neighborhood as you do, on the same outstanding countryside as you do, with the same people. I've been to all the great farms of the world, just about. I've never come across people who are as intuitively skilled and naturally talented stockmen as our local Zulus. And because of the combination of all of those things, it's not been difficult to achieve these things other than by saying we're going to do it the best way we can. We never had ambitions about winning championships. We just said we're going to do things the best way we can. In 2010, we founded the first school of management excellence in the Southern Hemisphere. I'm so proud to tell you tonight that we have 2 standing scholarships to the English National Stud every year, as long as we can get visas for our graduates. And in 5 years out of 7, we have produced the top student at the greatest management school in the world, the English National Stud. And 4 of those 5 are people from the disadvantaged community. And I think that's a remarkable story about, not only in this district, we've got a couple of them, of those graduates here tonight, but it's a hell of a story about the people we get up with in the mornings to go to work with. In 2018, sorry, I beg your pardon. I left out a very critical thing here. In 1990, you know, there's an old saying, if you want to get prematurely bald and you want to go grey early in your life, get into horses and hospitality. I did both. But I have to tell you, my dear wife here, it was her inspiration. And that little hotel has been a wonderful support for us. And it's developed some incredible relationships for us around the country. Importantly, with our neighbours right here at Fordoon tonight. I just would like, in closing, to say to the young people here tonight that until 1986, when I went to the United States to represent this country at the International Breeders' Conference, I'd never been to the United States. Racing took me there. For that matter, I'd never been to Japan, or Hong Kong, or Singapore, or Thailand, or Australia, or New Zealand, or India, or Japan, or Germany, or France, or Ireland. Racing took me there. And in our lives, Cheryl and I have been to many faraway places. And in the process, we've made some remarkably close friends. It's taken us to the mountaintop many, many times. And racing has set us down with the Queen of England. On the way, racing's taught us that no matter where you come from, in this game, if you put your mind to it, you can make a name for yourself. And sometimes you can aspire to excellence. But above all, ladies and gentlemen, the one thing that racing and breeding of racehorses has taught us, that in life, you get one chance. But if you do it right, once is enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Mick. Another round of applause for Mick Goss, Summerhill stud. Thank you very much. The next award this evening is, and I'm going to ask our team in the background again to push the pause button a few times. Our next award this evening is the Anita Akel Industry Award. And unfortunately, Anita and her daughter Annika were going to be with us tonight. Unfortunately, Anita's husband Ron has taken rather ill, and she was due to stay home because he was possibly having to be taken to hospital this evening. So our thoughts and prayers are with the Akel family, and we miss them here tonight. The Anita Akel Industry Award, I want to call up Bill Lambert. Yeah, a round of applause for the Akel family. But I'd like to call up in the meantime the Gold Circle Racing Ambassador, Mr. Bill Lambert, a man who's, no matter how many losers you've backed on a race card, no matter how many legs you've gone out your pick six, is a man who will always lift your spirits. Gold Circle couldn't have chosen a better racing ambassador other than Bill Lambert. And for the Anita Akel Industry Award, and for Bill to say a few words, I hand you over to Bill, and I'll ask you for a round of applause.
Thank you, Warren, and well done to you. I must say right at the start, ladies and gentlemen, that it's a great joy for me to be here with you all at Fordoon this evening. And I would particularly like to say, right at the start, how grateful I am to the KZN Breeders for always making me feel so welcome wherever I go. A round of applause to the wonderful breeders of KZN. Thank you. I stand in for a lady who's so well known, I mean, the name just rolls off the tongue, Anita Akel. She's been an icon, an absolute legend in the racing industry, and how sad we are that she couldn't be here to present her own Anita Akel Award because of Ron's serious illness. But how thrilled I am that I've been asked in her place to present this award. And this time it's to a lady, a proper lady. A lady who's passionate, a lady who gives exceptional service to our industry. She may not be as well known to some of the older ones as to all of the newer ones, but the name itself, when you hear it, you'll know that she's going places. She is a knowledgeable woman. Talk to her and you'll find that out. And one thing that I like most of all is that she's punctual. If she says she's going to be there at a certain time, she is. And how rare that is in this day and age. I'm happy in the extreme, really, to say that here is somebody in our industry who's prepared to go the extra mile. Just that little bit extra in the service of excellence. Like MJB and Summerhill, excellence. And it's achieved again and again. And here we're going to see somebody who's going to be achieving again and again. I might say she was not born into a racing family, so she doesn't have the privilege that we've all had of being born into this wonderful sport. She's become what the legal people will say, an accessory after the fact. So she is an accessory after the fact. And if she commits to something, I know that she gives 100% of her time and her commitment to that. She owns and runs her own business. And by now you will probably all have guessed that our winner this evening is a wonderful photographer amongst many other talents, Candice Marnick. and soon to be Mrs. Warren then further.
Hello everyone. As you all know, I'm not often on this side of the mic. Usually it's my husband-to-be, but I'll do my best. Sorry, catch my breath. I just want to thank everybody for recognizing me for this award. Anita Akel and the KZN Breeders. Sorry. Okay. Let's have a drink.
Just breathe. No, shh.
Okay. All right, there's two people in particular who got me into the KZN Breeders Club where I started, and for them I have a very big thank you. One is Warwick Render, the other one is Mike McCarty. Thank you for taking a chance on me. I consider it an honor and a privilege to work with all of you. I consider you not only colleagues but friends. I love your farms and your horses. I never stop getting excited visiting you all. To my chairman, Bruce LaRue, and the board, and all the past chairmen that I've worked for, Warwick, Bruce, Koos, Lee Scrivanti, thank you so much. Working for the KZN Breeders Club has also changed my life and my career in every aspect. I also achieved one of my personal goals this year. I bred a 3-time winner who's a KZN breed. I have to say I'm really proud of the horses that we breed, and I'm really lucky to work for all of you. I am continually motivated and inspired by all of you. Whew, sorry. I'm nearly done. I have to say a big thank you to my family and friends for supporting me tonight and throughout the year. My mom, who's always happy to help me and to fill in. My children, Julie and Mia. I apologize for not always being around like a normal mom. All I can hope is that I'm setting a good example for you, and that with hard work comes reward. To my chairman and all the board members, I know minutes are not my strong point. I'll continue to try and improve it. And I just want to say a very big thank you. Thank you.
But baby, you hardly even notice when I try to show you. Song is meant to keep you doing what you're supposed to. Waking up too early, maybe we could sleep. Make you banana pancakes, pretend like.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you very much, Bill, for your wonderful words. Our next award, ladies and gentlemen, is sponsored by Gold Circle. Thank you again to them for their sponsorship. Gold Circle. I'd like to call upon Neil Butcher and Bruce LaRue to present the next award. Thank you, Neil. Welcome, Neil. Bruce, thank you very much. The next award, ladies and gentlemen, is the final award of the evening. It is the Horse of the Year, and again I ask the production team to push the pause button. The Horse of the Year for the 2018, 17 and 18 racing year is a horse it's a fairy tale. Young owners, and as I talk you'll know who wins the Horse of the Year. A horse that's given young owners, young new owners. We need every owner, but we need young ones too. Michael Shea, the lunatic, son of Kevin Shea, Murray Makepeace, another youngster, and their partners. This horse has brought delight. This horse has put Callan Murray on the map. Callan Murray now rides overseas. Mike de Cox, the trainer. The jubilation. Videos have gone viral at the celebration when this horse won. Won the Group 1 SA Fillies Classic. She was the winner of the Group 2 Gauteng Fillies Classic. She won 2 legs of the Triple Tiara. She's put people on an absolute roller coaster. This evening we recognize the Horse of the Year, taking the piece. Summerhill Stud taking the piece.
Green Top strikes the front, Fiorella.
Have a look at this footage, ladies and gentlemen. There's some wonderful, wonderful footage here. What racing's all about. The jubilant celebrations. We wait for the Summerhill team to come up on stage, but have a look at this footage. This is something very special. They're the owners on the floor at Turf and Tame. The grooms, they're all celebrating. Yeah, some will have to stand in front of the stage, it's not a problem. Some will have to stand in front of the stage, some on top on the stage. Callan Murray in the saddle there. Your Horse of the Year for 2017-18 racing season, Summerhill Stud bred, taking the piece. Well done, Mick, Cheryl, Amaray, the entire team at Summerhill. You can be very proud. I'm sure a couple of you in the room will know how the horse taking the piece got the name. She wasn't called Taking the Piece. I forget her name. Somebody could. Did anyone remember her name? What was her name? Sagana. Could have been Sagana. Anyway, she was sold as Sagana, and the owners changed her name. I'll tell you the story, and I'm sure most of you know. And these lunatics that own her, they wanted to name her, and they said, well, let's go and call her Taking the Flowers. And they submitted that to the NHA, and that was rejected. I'm just using fictitious names. And in racing, you know, if you're joking around or whatever the case may be, we're all adults. You know, if you say you're taking the piss, well, it means you're misbehaving. They said, okay, well, then let's submit Taking the Speaker. That NHA didn't like that. So a couple of names were submitted, and eventually on the last name, which they said it's going to call Taking the Microphone, and they said no, they didn't that. And Michael and Shay and the boys said these guys are taking the complete piss. They're taking the piss. They said, well, Taking the Piece. That's what we're going to call her, Taking the Piece. That's how she got her name. Pardon me for a little bit of naughty language, but we're all adults. Ladies and gentlemen, it brings us to just about a close for tonight's proceedings, for the ceremony, the awards at least. The dessert still needs to be served. Coffee and tea need to be drunk, as well as a few whiskies and wines. The DJ will, of course, open the dance floor and put on some music for us, and we'll squeak the tacky. Is that what it's called? Squeak the tacky. Yeah, there we go. That's the Crawford girls. They're not scared to squeak the tacky. So don't feel to rush off. It's only 9 o'clock. Enjoy some desserts, tea, coffee, a few drinks, a bit of music, and let's celebrate all the winners tonight. It would be remiss if we didn't thank a few people. Again, to our generous sponsors. There's our sponsors, folks. Bayedi Royal Wines, Choice Carriers, Crusade Syndicate, Epol Horse Feeds, Equifeeds Horse Feeds, Gold Circle, Golden Sword, Flying the Flag Syndicate, Mambo and Seattle Syndicate, Piemonte Stud, Summerhill Stud, Spring Valley Stud, the Equine Group, the Thoroughbred Breeders Association, and Odds On Colours. Thank you to them. A generous round of applause for the sponsors. Neil, our sound technician, thank you for your good work and your time and patience. Thank you very much. Lola Crawford, who's not with us tonight, but her two beautiful daughters certainly are. There they are. There they are. Lola's daughters, Lola and Lorraine de Klerk. They were here very early this morning putting together these magnificent flower arrangements. We need to give them a serious round of applause to Lola Crawford and Lorraine de Klerk. Delia, where's Delia? You didn't waste time, eh? Delia's there. Delia, thank you so much. Thank you for your time on stage and for helping us out. And Lungi, who's the manager here, the manager of the events hall that we're in here at Fordoon, thank you to Lungi and her staff for their fantastic job that they've done. The table arrangements have been changed 6 times today. Thank you, Lungi. Your patience is appreciated. And why not? A little personal moment. Why not? To my 2 stepchildren to be, Mia and Julia, my mother Anita, my mother-in-law Trish. Welcome. Welcome to them. Wonderful to have them here. The evening is upon us. Let us sit back, relax. Let us enjoy our celebration. Let us enjoy the winners. Let us grab a glass of wine. Let the music play on. Enjoy your desserts. Warren Lenferner signing off.